You watching Strictly Basketball Podcast, episode 2. I'm doing this podcast for people to learn more about basketball, to influence people in basketball, to inspire people in basketball. And today we talking about best NBA players to have not ever won a ring.
Most turned. I'm the co-host. Most turned nerd. Education. I'm all about my grades. Basketball is a way to educate yourself about life.
Right, facts, definitely, for sure.
Let's get it. Episode 2. What's the title?
The title was about best NBA players to not have won a ring.
Yeah, where we broadcasting from?
From Harlem, New York. Hansborough Recreational Center, Harlem, New York.
Yeah. What's the title of this podcast?
Best NBA players that have not ever won a ring.
Yeah. What's the title of the whole podcast, right?
Strictly Basketball Podcast.
Strictly Basketball.
Strictly Basketball, for sure.
Let's get into it.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
My opinion, the best player that not ever won a ring, I would say, is Allen Iverson, because he took a bad team to the finals against Kobe and Shaq in a prom, and he did good. He was killing. So that's my favorite player to not ever win a ring is Allen Iverson, because he was great.
Absolutely. Honestly, bro, I totally agree with you. And it's not just because what he did on the court that make Allen Iverson the best to not win a ring. It's what he did off the court.
Yeah, facts.
Change basketball.
He changed basketball, and he brought a certain trend in the early 2000s. He had headbands, the sleeve, all that. Allen Iverson changed the game in the early 2000s. He was the lead MVP.
Yeah.
Back in 2001.
Yeah. Tattoos.
He did his due diligence as a player.
Tattoos. Think about championships on the court, but think about the freedom that he gave young brothers and sisters off the court. We talking about tattoos. We talking about dress code. We talking about being authentically himself. That may or may not be the reason why he don't got no championship.
Yeah, for sure.
We can get into that.
Yeah, then we gonna talk about players doing things off the court in the community, giving back.
Hold on, Kendall. Move that back. Yeah. Shout out to the crew in the back.
Shout out to the crew in the back.
Let's get it.
Shout out to y'all, yeah. Then we talking about players doing things off the court in the community, helping out, giving back, like charity organizations, like turkey drives, giving back to unfortunate people in the community, people that's in need, and things like that.
It's a situation where you can use basketball, even if you don't get to the limits of the limits. You can use basketball to empower and feed your community, man. You know, to me, that's a real championship right there.
For sure.
That's a real championship.
Yeah, for sure. Helping people out. And basketball could be a tool you could use. Like, if you're going through depression, anything you're going through in life, you can use basketball as therapy, like, to get you out of that mood. Like,
Check that out. What's that young man name? Brody, young Brody? Young Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook might not ever win no championship. He might not never win no championship, but he respected in his neighborhood. He respected in Los Angeles. When the young kids feel like they can beat somebody when they see him. He can't make no layup consistently with the Los Angeles Lakers. He can't help no LeBron James. But he is a beacon of light. So that's a championship to me.
Then I want to get into things that's going on in the league, that's happening around the league.
Come on.
Shout out to DAMIAN Lillard, dropped his 71 points in the league. Shout out to Dame Dollar. DAMIAN Lillard's a great player. I just feel like he need to leave Portland. He loyal to a franchise. He ain't going to win a ring. I feel like he need to go to a title contender where he could win a chip, where he can compete for a title.
Let's talk about loyalty, though. Let's talk about loyalty. Since we're talking about NBA, we're talking about people that's not champions, but it's great. Now, is that, I'm going to ask you a question, right? I'm going to ask you a question. I got a question for you. What's more important, a material championship or loyalty?
Loyalty, of course, being loyal to something is always important. You gotta always have loyalty. Always. That's what I like about Damian Lillard. That's what I like about Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard not going to join a super team. He doing that by himself. Like he always said, I always had a chip on my shoulder since high school. I was a two-star recruit in high school.
Come on.
I wasn't heavily recruited in
Say
high
that.
school. I went to mid-major school, Weber State.
Say that.
Like he always said, I got a chip on my shoulder. Every game, I got a chip on my shoulder.
Real underdog. He a real underdog. C.J. McCollum left him. He ain't get scared.
Yep.
He ain't back out. He ain't badmouth C.J. McCollum when he left. He stayed loyal to the soil.
In my opinion, he the MVP of the league right now. He averaging 32.2 points per game. Even in his bag, he just had 71 points. So
let's talk about real life. And anybody out there that's watching this, a basketball player, I don't care what you are, dentist, a rapper, a clothing designer, think about that. Think about the peace of mind that Lillard may go to sleep with. Now, granted, he's still a young man. He still can get a championship. But let me ask you something, Ray. Do you feel like Damian Lillard will be remembered in Portland more than Kevin Durant will be remembered in Golden State.
For sure, he definitely gonna leave his mark in Portland. When it's all said and done, he gonna be a Portland Trail Blazers legend. He already a legend right now, but he the Portland Trail Blazers all-time leading scorer right now. He's great.
Now come on, let's talk about
when it's all said and done. He gonna be a future Hall of Famer.
Yes,
I
sir.
think so. Of
Yes,
course,
sir.
for sure, definitely.
Yes, sir. Now let's think about that, bro. Because Kevin Durant got two championships.
He went back-to-back, 2017 and 2018.
But everybody always got that big asterisk because he jumped on the bandwagon.
He went to a super team. Like I said last episode, that was a powerhouse team. It was loaded. They had Klay Thompson. He had other superstar players on that team. So, of course, they're going to keep winning chips because they had other great players around him.
It's about standing for something. Sometimes it's about standing for something. Damian Lillard so he might not be an NBA champion, but he a human being champion.
Definitely, yeah, so definitely. And I want to talk about NBA All-Star Weekend that just went. Shout out to Mac McClung for winning the dunk contest. He got a bounce. He on a two-way contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. Mac McClung is a bucket. People better pay attention to Mac McClung. People better pay attention to him. He's great, Mac McClung.
Plyometrics. Anybody out there, I don't care you old, you're young, this is where the most turn nerd come in at with the education. Plyometrics. If you want to jump like Mac McClung, if you want to dunk like the All-Star Dunk Contest, you got to get your plyometrics on, y'all. This beyond basketball. This just health. This just self-care. This just self-care.
Like Shaq told Mac McClung, bring the dunk contest back because to me, this was the best dunk contest in the last 2-3 years.
You see that?
This year was great.
You see, hold on, Ray. Let me ask you another question, Ray. I got a question, Ray. I got a question. That wasn't no basketball game, but do you see how people got excited about that?
Right.
How he was able to galvanize the community?
Yep.
That was a contest. That wasn't no basketball game.
And not even that, he a player that was in the. Not even that, he was a player that was in the G League.
Tell him again.
A player that was in the NBA G League.
Tell him, look at that camera and tell him.
He was a player that was in the NBA
Look at the mic.
G League.
Yeah.
He was an NBA player that was in the G League.
Come on.
He on a two-way contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. He not even on the team yet.
Ain't God good? Ain't God good? Ain't God good? He could put you in the room that you weren't even supposed to be. He wasn't supposed to be there. He a G League player. That boy ain't got no NBA contract.
A G League player.
Sometimes God can put you in a room and make an impact in the room you weren't supposed to be in.
You heard.
Because he following his passion. Because he following something that means something to him.
And shout out to Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum set the All-Star record scoring 55 points. Shout out to Jayson Tatum. Word.
I know his auntie. Hey, Christian,
Shout out to Jayson Tatum. He the goods right now.
His auntie went to school with me. Shout out Miss Elizabeth on Instagram. How you doing?
Shout out to Jayson Tatum auntie. Word.
For sure.
And my title contenders personally is the Celtics right now. They're the number 2 seed in the East, but when Jaylen Brown come back and everybody, I think the Celtics could compete for a title. They were just in a chip against Golden State. So I think Boston got a real good team.
Okay, let's talk about that because they got some great players. They got some great players.
They got Malcolm Brogdon and they got Mike Muscala. They picked up Mike Muscala on free agency. He a great player. He been in the league for a while. He a good veteran player, Mike Muscala.
Now, let me ask you, what's it going to take? Because the Boston Celtics have been around. They didn't lost to Golden State. They didn't lost to Giannis and the Bucks. What's it going to take for them to get over that hump? What you think?
They gotta stay healthy as a team. They gotta win because they gotta win consistent games.
Look at that camera.
They gotta stay consistent. They gotta have team chemistry. They gotta win games, and they gotta work. They want to compete for a title. They gotta work.
Straight up, man. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah, that's life. If you want to do anything in life, you gotta stay consistent. You gotta have determination. You gotta have that desire to go after what you want, to achieve your goals, to accomplish your goals. You gotta have that desire and determination.
Now, speak of that desire and determination. I know we're talking about great players that have not won a ring. But I also want to shout out one great player that did win a ring both off the court and on the court. It's very important because, remember, this basketball thing can take you all around the world, ladies and gentlemen, days and hymns. I want to shout out Harthorne Wingo. He was on the championships because we in New York City, right? We in New York, right?
Yep.
This your town, right?
Yeah, we in New York.
This your town, right?
We in Harlem, New York. We in Harlem, New York, too.
1973 was the last time the New York Knicks won an NBA championship. Yep. On that team, he had a rookie named Harthorne Wingo. He was a rookie. He went to Friendship Community College. And he was a part of what you call the Friendship College Nine. That was a civil rights legendary squad who used the civil rights strategy of jail, no bail. They did a sit-in and woo!
Shout out to Willis Reed too.
He was the finals MVP.
Yep, he was finals MVP 1970 and he was finals MVP 1973.
Now this is a little known brother. A lot of people don't know about him. Hawthorne Wingo won the championship as a rookie, but he almost lost his eligibility because he was standing up for what he believed in. In 1961, he was a part of what they called the Friendship College Nine. He did a sit-in. In 1961, the fight against racism and segregation, he had to go to jail. Their civil rights strategy was jail, no bail. They was gonna sit in jail until something got better done for the civil rights for human beings. But the other 9 said, hey, Hawthorne, we want you to go to the NBA, so we gonna bail you out.
Speaking about the Knicks know I'm a 4th seed right now in the Eastern Conference. Jalen Brunson been playing good. Julius Randle been in his bag. Shout out to Emil Quickly, Quinn Garand. Shout out to all the young pieces the Knicks got right. And the Knicks can make a second round. They could at least get to the second round. The Knicks doing their thing this year. Shout out to all the Knicks players.
Now, what's it gonna take? But what's it gonna take though? We ain't seen no Madison Square Garden in the playoffs in a little while that really makes something happen. What's it gonna take for the New York Knicks to break the hump? What's it gonna take, right?
They gotta have chemistry. They gotta stay consistent, win consistent games. They gotta play as a team, teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. You know that. Teamwork makes the dream work. You know that. So you got,
make the dream.
like I said, teamwork makes the dream work, and they gotta win consistent games. And shout out to Tom Thibodeau. Shout out to the Knicks coach, Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau doing a great job with the Knicks this year.
Defense win championship.
Shout out to Tom Thibodeau.
Defense win championship.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, for sure.
Defense win championships. So sometimes, if you don't play no defense, sometimes you might just be a great player with no championship.
And I also want to speak about the best NBA game I've seen of all time. Michael Jordan scoring like 40 when he had the flu. Like, that's what make Michael Jordan a GOAT. Like, his flu season, 1997 against Utah Jazz, he was able to win when he had the flu. So that's great about MJ.
Wrap us up, man. Most turn.
All right, so thanks for watching Strictly Basketball Podcast, Episode 2. Best NBA players to not have won a ring. And I also want to give a shout out to all the players, all the basketball trainers and coaches that helped me through basketball. Shout out to Coach Tippy, Big Apple Sports.
Look at that camera.
Shout out to Coach Tippy, Big Apple Sports. Shout out to Coach Tippy, Big Apple Sports. Shout out to Faith Prep, Coach Qua. Shout out to Steady Buckets, Coach Maggie. Shout out to all the people that helped me within basketball. Shout out to y'all. Follow me on all social media platforms, Rayshawn Joseph. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rayshawn Joseph. Add me on Facebook, Rayshawn Joseph. And
I'm the co-host. I'm the most turned nerd. And I'm blessed to be here today. Remember, you can use basketball to educate yourself, renew your mind, and renew your wealth. Shout out to Harlem. I'm from Detroit. Most turned, baby. Let's get it.
let's go. We out.